Hellmaster EX. This award-winning system features the first single-engine joystick with digital electric steering and new autopilot capability. See Hellmaster EX in action at a Yamaha Outboard dealer or visit YamahaOutboards.com.
Dave Anderson here with the Fisherman magazine. It's October 3rd. These are your headlines. Hearing about some really good tog fishing in Rhode Island waters this week. Also hearing about some great surf fishing out along the Cape and inside the Cape Cod Canal. And last thing is still the best albie fishing is out in western Long Island Sound. Stay tuned for all that and more on this week's New England Fishing Forecast.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Before we begin, we've got a few news items for you guys. The first one comes to us from the Rhode Island DEM. It's just news that they stocked 12 ponds with trout this week. So fall trout stocking is underway in Rhode Island. We've also got news that it's underway in Massachusetts and in Connecticut. So there's a lot of trout swimming around out there right now. And, you know, all you freshwater guys can get out there and take advantage of it. Also, it's going to perk up the largemouth in those ponds, especially the big ones. They're going to have some big baits around that really don't have many instincts. So you can take advantage of that as well. Next thing is the latest installment of Jenni Ackerman's Open Boat. Here she is.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat. Today I have a very special episode for you guys. We're here at the Fisherman show in Long Island. That's right, I'm out here in Long Island. Look at this picture, Montauk right behind me. But we're gonna walk around and we're gonna check out all of the awesome vendors that are showcasing new products that you guys need for the fall run. So let's go and let's check out some vendors.
Hi, my name is Josh, and this is a tsunami booth, and
I'm his dad, and yeah, we're getting ready for the fall run, and today we're getting at the show, and we're showcasing our surf top. Definitely a vital piece of equipment for being out there in the surf, and with the weather we had this past week, you know that you need it. Showcasing our new surf series. We have two rods in the series, Forged and Salt X. Very similar rods. I'm going to show the 8.7s right now. Just the color difference and titanium guides on the Salt X, and we're doing Fuji K-frame on the Forged. Where we really step it up is in the 9.7 and the 10.7 in the Salt X. We're using the Fuji concept guides. These are the best guide and the guide layout for distance casting. So for getting outside the bar, you know, when you need to, this is going to be a winner here. You're going to get extra distance, no doubt about it.
Welcome to the Z-Belts booth. You guys all know us. We have all your fall surf casting essentials in stock, ready to ship. If you can't make it to a show, go on the website. We're doing semi-frequent sales. Stop in and check out the belts or any of our plug bag options. We have the 2-tube. We've got 3 tubes in both black and tan. We have the large 2-tube with the 4-inch by 8-inch diameter tubes in them, and then we have a full line of 6, 9, and 11-inch single tube pouches. The 11-inch pouches are great for big needles and metal lips. We also have our pliers sheets, our dive knives, and our most recent addition to the lineup is the 2-in-1 cooler backpack combo. And that's going to be a cooler on the bottom with a roll top dry bag integrated into the top, so you can bring your beverages and your snacks in the bottom, and then a spare change of dry clothes, or anything you want to keep dry in the top. It makes a great companion for long beach walks or trips on the boat.
So keep in mind, during the fall blitz season, if you break a guide, break a tip, come on and see us at Bob's Bait & Tackle. I'll be able to fix it for you and get you back out there as soon as possible.
Hi, I'm Al Gagg, owner of Gagg's Grabbers Lures. 47 years I've been in this business. I know the fall's approaching pretty fast, so here's what you got to do. Start off with a twitched eel, just like this. During the day, maybe not so dark of a night, moon out and everything, you want to throw this, or if it gets dark, no moon, right here, black purple. You'll increase your catches, you'll have a great fall.
I'm Chris Gatley with Mustad. For the fall striped bass run that's about to come down the beaches here, there's two options for you for your striper plugs. If you're a treble hook person, we have a 3X, 4X, and a 5X in what we call the jaw lock. This happens to be the 1/0 size 3X strong jaw lock, and that's your model number JL73NP. If you're in the conservation mode and you want a single hook, we have the Ruthless Inline in our Alpha Point series, and this is to replace trebles, and you can get various sizes. Here we have a size 6 all the way up to a 6/0. Coming this fall, we're going to release the Ultra Nor from Mustad. It's in the Ultra Point series. The big difference between the Ultra Nor versus what you're accustomed to is in the forging process. This is a new proprietary forging. If you take a traditional forged hook, like this one, it's flat on the side. The Ultra Nor series now has the forge stamped into the metal. It pushes the adjacent metal out and creates an I-beam in your hook. So you're going to have a stronger hook at a thinner diameter. We have a ton of different styles, and they're available later this fall.
So hey, I'm Larry Welcome. This is my display of my wood lures. It goes by the company name of Sporting Wood. And normally, most people know me from North Bar Tackle. That's my plastic line of lures. But for this show and for some of the other shows, this is my display of my wood lures. So we have bottle darters, we have bottle swimmers, we have metal lip Dannies, we have darters, and we have junior bottle darters. And yeah, so a lot of people really enjoy the wood over plastic. They like to get a lure that's made by somebody that they know, that's made in the United States, and that they can talk with. And so, yeah.
The fall runs around the corner, and so is the VS50 X2. Completely machine waterproof, 35 inches per turn, 25 pounds of drag. Awesome little reel.
We literally have so many awesome vendors here. There's a ton of just legendary fishermen here in the crowd. Definitely a show you don't want to miss out on. So if you're not here this year and you're watching the video, I expect to see you guys here next year, especially to come to my seminar and everyone else's seminar. They're awesome seminars, surf, inshore, offshore fishing. We have it all at the Fisherman Magazine show. And catch next week's open boat, because I'm standing up on the stage here looking at the crowd, and I see some legendary fishermen out here that I think I'm going to interview and give you guys some motivational quotes to kick off your fall run season. So let's go.
Next thing, of course, is a giveaway, which is ongoing. Still got a steady stream of photos coming in. It's definitely going to be a good contest. This one's going to wrap up on Halloween, so you've got to get your photos in by October 30th. You can text them to me at the number on the screen, or you can email them to me at danderson@thefisherman.com. And the guidelines are really pretty wide open, other than the fact that it has to show you or the angler holding his or her fish. Outside of that, you can get as creative as you want. Just try to compose a nice photo, because your composition is what's going to win this thing. We're giving away a glide bait made by me, and it's in kind of a cool little bunker color. And I'm looking forward to giving it to somebody who takes a great photo. So get those in to me by the 30th of this month, and we'll see who wins. Moving over to the reports now, things are starting to recover from the big nor'easter, and even up in Maine, where there was some question about how much of an impact that would have on the striper fishing up there. It being now we're into October here, but it seems like things have stayed pretty good up there. Hearing about a lot of smaller fish now in the mouths of the rivers and up inside the rivers, but there have also been some reports of some bigger fish, even some fish up into the low 30-pound class, pushing along some of the beaches up there, especially on those rocky points. As we drop down over the border into Massachusetts, we're hearing good news from Plum Island as well, and let's hear more about that from James Jewkes.
How you doing, Dave? Everyone, hope the fall run has been so far so good for you. Up on Plum Island here, it's been tough. northeast wind, pockets of clean water, dirty water. But other than that, bluefish have been rolling through, bass have been pushing through. We got another northeast blow today, which is awful. But I'll be out here. I don't think anybody else will be out here, but you know. I think over at Gloucester and north of here, we've also been seeing fish. Gotta get out, do your thing. Hopefully we'll have some good stuff coming. Wind's gonna change. Weather's gonna get chillier. It's getting darker and darker as the nights go on. And on the freshwater side, pike is picking up a little bit. Carp guys are getting into fish. So I would imagine we'll see some good trout coming soon with the stocking going on. But it's all about getting out and doing it. So here I am. All right, Dave, that's it from here. Hope everything's well with everyone. Enjoy yourselves.
Heading down to Boston Harbor now, let's check in with Danny Parma from Fish Bucket Sport Fishing.
Thanks, Dave. Dan checking in with the bite from Boston. This week we had a little bit better of a bite as opposed to last week. It seems like a few of those full-size pogies moved back in, and the bass are there picking away at them. I did talk to a couple of the guys out in the harbor, the guides, and they're saying the same thing. Fishing's getting better and better, so hopefully after a couple more days that, you know, storm, all the sediment that kicked up will kind of settle, and we'll get back to the fall run. It's a good chance right now to get offshore, do some tuna fishing, do some sharking, get some ground fish. We took a trip on Saturday, hooked into a little poor beagle shark, a good eating poor beagle shark. We got some good sized pollock and a couple of good sized cod. Cod season's open. You're allowed one at 23 inches, I believe. So winter's coming. Get out there, stay safe. I'll catch you on the next one.
Now from the South Shore all the way across the canal and out onto, you know, the sandwich beaches and even beyond that, we have been hearing about a lot of peanut bunker leaving the estuaries, and it's fueling some really good surf fishing for striped bass. This all sort of peaked early at the beginning of the nor'easter, but it's lasted since then, and especially around the mouths of the estuaries. That seems to be where the best fishing is taking place right now. Surf fishermen are cashing in on it for the most part, but as waters continue to calm down, we're going to see more boat action and more kayak guys getting in on it as well. The biggest fish are being taken at night, no big surprise there, and live eels have been the best way to get a big one, and no surprise there either. Going around the end of the Cape, getting out on the outer beach side, there's been some blitzes along those beaches as well. A lot of fall run activity going on for the surf guys, and then we've been hearing about some good vertical jigging out off of Truro, off of Eastham, that whole stretch there. We're seeing a lot of good vertical jigging. We're seeing some surface blitzes out there as well for guys throwing small spooks and stuff like that. Overall, the fall run just really appears to be pushing hard right now. And there's even been some tuna activity, within sight of the beach so far. A lot of guys haven't ventured out crazy far yet, just because the seas are, still kind of coming down, although by now they should be pretty calm. And, things are looking good on that front. As we get down toward Monomoy, still a few bass around that area. It doesn't seem like it's firing like it was, but still some fish around. Nantucket has been putting out good numbers of fish, though, and if you follow the Nantucket Inshore Classic, you'll see that, it's been some good bass fishing. There's been good bonito fishing. There's been some decent blue fishing. and even some albies. I think this week there was a 28-inch albie entered in the Classic, which is cool to see. Nantucket Sound seems to be the place where most of the albie activity has been all year, and that's kind of holding true again this week. It's been more of the bigger albies have been out in the middle of Nantucket Sound, and there's also been some a little bit more activity now pushing up toward the Elizabeth Islands. I guess they've been pretty finicky except on those really rough days, but they are around. It's been a little bit of bigger bait around too, which is good to see. And then if you follow the Vineyard Derby, you'll see that, in spite of anything that happens, there are guys that are still fishing, still catching. Bonitos seem to be getting smaller. Albies have been scarce, but still some sizable fish. And we're starting to see some more bigger bluefish coming into the Derby now as well. So that's good to see. Pushing through the islands up toward the canal. The canal had a pretty good week. And for a little bit more on that, let's check in now with East End Eddie.
Hi Dave, another beautiful fall morning here in the world famous Cape Cod Canal. Got a east flood tide behind me next to the Bourne Bridge. There's been enough bait in the water to hold fish on their way south in the migration. And slapshot Scotty Ewell landed a 39-inch the other day that exploded on his green left hook. There's no more fun way to catch a fish than on the surface, splashing like a 3-year-old in the tub. And Bruno de Souza caught 5 fish up to 33 inches with his Algags Wacky Mac soft plastic jig. Multicolored lures have done well this week. Bill on the Grill Produce landed a high-end slot with his Wonder Bread colored Yozori Hydro Minnow, and those were on a west ebb tide. And on the same tide, Rob Fish Sticks Pisa caught 3 above slot. 2 of them, the 2 smaller ones, they weren't small, but they were smaller, were caught on a white bucktail. And the biggest one was 40 inches. That was caught on a Ron Z blue 5-ounce soft plastic jig. And so you've heard of Wonder Woman. Well, there's a girl in Attleboro we should call Wonder Girl, Sage Nicholson. She just continues to outfish the boys. Sage caught a 39-inch and 34-inch on a Fish Lab Wacky Mac. So congratulations to those anglers. And my tip of the week is, if you don't have corkers, you should get some, because these rocks can be very, very slippery, and they could save you from a very painful fall. So get some corkers. Until next week, catch a big one.
Buzzards Bay has been kind of slow until you get up into the estuaries of rivers like Buttermilk Bay, up in the Wareham River, when you get up more toward Mattapoisett Harbor, places like that. We have been seeing a lot of blitz activity. Most of these fish are on the smaller side, but finding some fish up into the mid 30-inch class mixing in. And if you just want to go out there and flip the fly rod around or throw your light spinner with like a small popper, you're going to crush them. A lot of fish up inside the estuaries right now, and as things continue to clean up and calm down, we're going to see more movement on the striped bass front along those beaches. Getting out more toward the western end of Buzzards Bay, the togging has been really good, and something that's been kind of cool is we're seeing a lot of weak fish showing up in local catches. We're seeing them feeding underneath blitzes, especially blitzes of bonito. I know Jason Colby had a good one this week, or one of his clients did, while they were togging. So there's a bumper crop of weak fish around running right now, and some of these fish are decent size. They're not giants, but fish up into the low 20-inch class. So if you want to catch a weak fish, or if you just want to check that one off your list, right now might be a good time to go. And that's what I have for you guys in Massachusetts this week. Crossing over into Rhode Island, let's start things off with an East Bay report from TJ Kopecky.
Thanks, Dave. Hey guys, got a quick report again for you from the East Bay, a little bit of Mount Hope Bay, headed towards Fall River. We're going to start over in the Barrington and Warren Rivers. As always, the East Bay, lots of bait. There's still lots of bait in the Warren River. There's still lots of bait in the Barrington River. There's still lots of bass. Had a couple of outings out there. Had a couple of great sunrises along with that. Catching fish this past weekend. The raw fish up to, I got up to 29 inches, but my buddy John was out there and he caught fish up to 33 on the Warren Bridge. And we just know that they're there. They're not all big, but there are a lot of smaller fish also in the mix. I did get some schoolies that were 17, 18 inches, all on the 5-inch swimming mullet that I used. And I got a couple on the top water plug that I was using, with just a white Atom top water. So they're in there, and it's not hard work to get them, but I found that the outgoing tide has been the best on catching fish. The incoming was a little bit slower. I went back and I fished the outgoing tide, and I did much better on bigger bass. So try to work those outgoing tides.
Striped bass activity has been the big thing still in Rhode Island. The eastern half of the state has seen a lot of fish. Seems like a lot of the mullet have pushed out after the storm, but we still got lots of fish milling around. It's hard to even tell what they're feeding on. There's probably some peanuts around. I know I've been seeing a lot of shrimp in the surf, which, you know, not something that I typically think of as something that's going to hold big schools of fish, but I would think that they're definitely feeding on those a little bit. Maybe there are some straggler mullet. Maybe we're going to see a few more coming out, in the coming weeks. Let's hope for that. But in any case, there are still lots of striped bass along the beaches. No real change in size. You know, the average fish are like 24 to 34 inches. And if you kind of split the middle of that, that's like the perfect average size, like right around 29 inches. Seem to be getting tons and tons of those. So good numbers of slot fish if you're looking for one for the table. And that extends all throughout the eastern half of the state, down to Point Judith, all along the Narragansett shoreline, although from what I've been hearing, Narragansett's been a little spottier. But the surf fishing has been very good for numbers and not so great for size. The biggest fish I'm hearing about have been topping out around 25 pounds, and those are extremely rare. But paddletails have been killing it, poppers have been killing it. Bucktail jigs have been crushing it as well. So get out there and just play the numbers game for a while, because there's lots of fish around to be caught. On the togging end of things, fishing's been really good. It's the right time of year, just kind of on a steady increase as we kind of come into that Rhode Island Tog Classic time. It's perfect timing. We're seeing some good fish, up close to double digits, and that extends pretty much across the entire state. So you've got lots of opportunity to catch a big tog right now, and plenty of keepers if you want to fill a limit. For a little bit more on all that stuff, let's toss it over now to Captain John Lee from JL Charters.
Hey, it's John Lee, JL Charters, Point Judith, Rhode Island. We've had a lot of wind this week. We've had some rough seas. It's been tough getting out. When I have been out, we're riding on the anchor. If the wind is with the current, you lay pretty good. If the wind and the current are opposed, you definitely lay kind of funky. We have caught some tautog. Sea bass are winding down. The more interesting reports, at least today on Wednesday, is the giant tuna open today, and it seems like there's giants here, there, everywhere. People are seeing them bust on the surface. They're marking them. It's not an insane concentration of fish, but they're just all over the place. A lot of shearwaters have come inshore, and you have bluefish, striped bass, green bonita, and giant tuna, often all in the same area. So I'm going to go tomorrow and check that scene out, and I will get back to you next week. Anyway, we have good weather. This is the time to go. This is the fall. This is when our fisheries are all in flux. You can get big stripers, big blues. You can get big blackfish. This is the time to get it in before the next set of wind comes in, which is inevitable. Take care. Have a good one.
We're also seeing more guys venturing offshore now. We had a few reports during the storm, the guys that have iron stomachs that went out there and did it anyway in the big massive seas, and they did quite well. And now that things are coming down, the bites proving to be, let's put it this way, it's proving to have held on through the storm. Guys are doing it chunking, guys are doing it with jigs, and we're starting to see more giants out there now as well. And for a little bit more on that, let's toss it over now to Jeff Sullivan. Here he is.
What's up, Dave? What's up, guys? So this week I have an offshore report for the giant tuna side of things. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of giant tuna around. There's a lot of giant tuna airing on the surface this morning. I actually just got back in myself. I went out with my buddy Rob Taylor of Newport Sport Fishing Charters, and we had an awesome action-packed morning. The tuna were just airing out all over the place. Giants just eating bluefish on the surface. It was incredible. But we ended up moving things down more southerly, and we found some drag boats, and we were fishing drag boats for giants. And let me tell you, to try to put brakes on a 500 to 700 pound fish from getting into the drag boats, the nets in the back and the cables and all that fun stuff back there is no easy task. We would use live bluefish, get close as possible, chuck it in the slick, and you're like literally tight in seconds. We went through countless amount of bluefish today. We had a lot of bites today. We just, we couldn't get one home. It's just, they were smart. They were smarter than we were today. Just put it that way. But we had a lot of fun, and we fought them. We fought one for about an hour and a half. We got him out of the danger zone, and it just went right back in and popped us out. It's just one of those things that you win some, you lose some kind of thing. But it keeps you going back for more. And there's a lot of tuna around, guys. There's still a lot of life, a lot of dolphins out there, a lot of bait. So if you're into the tuna game, stick to it, because there's a lot of fish around still. You're just going to have to use your nose and do the old stop, look, listen, because there's a lot of chum slicks. There's a lot of tuna slicks. There's a lot of tuna chicks out there, dolphins. There's, you name it. So, all right. Well, I just got back in. I'm going to go take a nap, take a sleep, and get back after it. All right, guys. Same time next week. Later.
Not much has changed along South County. Still lots of striped bass up inside the breachways and just outside the breachways. Got plenty of bait spilling out onto the beaches. Very few albies around, but there are some if you really want to just grind it out and find one. Still bonito around. There's been some mackerel around, and there's been a decent number of bluefish. And we're starting to see a lot more tog from that area as well. So the Watch Hill Reefs are putting out fish. Any of those wrecks off the South County beaches, or any of those rocky points or just little ledges out there, they're all holding fish right now. And there's even still a few fluke around. And that's what I have for you guys in Rhode Island this week. Moving over into Connecticut, we still have a lot of fall blitz-like activity taking place in the Eastern Sound. It's really centering around the Thames River and then just kind of trickling out from there, trickling west toward Nantucket Bay. Lots of the same size fish that we seem to be seeing everywhere. These right around slot size, a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. It's great activity for anybody that just wants to get out there and bend the rod. Guys that are targeting bigger fish are doing it with live eels, they're doing it with big soft plastics, mostly doing it at night, and a lot of the more successful guys are doing it from a kayak. So there are some bigger fish out there for the boat and kayak guys. Surf guys are struggling to find bigger fish on the whole, although a few guys are getting some better ones here and there. And we're hearing a lot about the ramp up to togging. I mean, here it is the 3rd. We've got 7 days until tog season opens in Connecticut. A lot of shops are already taking crab orders. A lot of guys are stocking up on all the things they need, tog jigs and hooks and sinkers and leader material, and even buying new rods and reels for it. The opening day of tog season in Connecticut is probably one of the biggest events on the entire New England fishing calendar. These guys take it very seriously, and the fishing typically starts off very good. So we'll be talking more about that next week. As we get up closer to the Connecticut River, we've been hearing some better news on striped bass, and for a little bit more on that, let's check in now with Captain Mike Roy from Reelcast Charters.
Hey everybody, for this week's fishing report, we're now into October, and this is the big push of striped bass through Connecticut waters. We're going to see it this month. There's going to be everything from schoolie size, slot fish, and trophy size stripers pushing through. You'll find bunker schools, and you can expect when you find the bunker schools that you will have a shot at finding some big stripers around them. I'd also expect to see some gator bluefish around those bunker schools as well. The small bait, the peanut bunker, and other small bait are going to have a lot of schoolies, and hopefully we're going to push albies. The new moon is today, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them show up really soon. Also, blackfish season, or the tog season, opens on October 10th in Connecticut, so I'm sure the togfish will be good, and there'll be a lot of keeper black sea bass as well. That's all I have for you. Good luck.
Now let's head up the river and we'll check in with Rowan Lytle.
Howdy folks, so we're closing in on one of the last nice, beautiful, almost summer-like weekends we probably have this season, and the Connecticut River is still at a very low, clear level. Some of the cooler nights have been cooling the water temperatures down, which is really good for the pike bite. The pike are definitely getting more active. I anticipate that to hold through the weekend. That's also kicking the panfish and the bass into bulking up mode. So a lot of fish are feeding pretty hard. They're making that last push of fall to really fatten up before the cold times come. And that makes it a good time to get out and try and catch some fish. I've been doing a lot with larger profile stuff. Of course, I fly fish primarily for the bass and the pike lately. I've been going with pretty large flies, 7 inches and bigger. And of course, work the weed edges, look for the drop-offs. The fish aren't always in the shallower spots that they often were earlier in the summer and in the spring, but they're still in fairly concise areas. One thing to look out for is weeds are often starting to die this time of year, so you might get chunks of the day, even throughout the whole day, where there's grass and vegetation floating, and that can make things fairly difficult. So be aware that is a thing you have to watch out for, and it might make the fishing tricky. Make sure you have some weedless presentations in your quiver. Otherwise, that floating dead vegetation that is such a common thing this time of year can get to be a bit of a pain.
And now we'll leave the river, stop in Westbrook, and check in with Matt Stone from Black Hall Outfitters.
How's it going, everyone? Matt here from Black Hall Outfitters in Westbrook with this week's fishing report. Definitely into fall fishing mode here. We are into October. Locally in the Long Island Sound, we're going to start to see an increase in blitzes. You're going to see birds working, especially on cloudy and windy days. Worst weather, best fishing, I think, this time of year. Definitely still bigger fish around, but they're definitely going to kind of dwindle as October fades. So if you're after big stripers kind of every day, I think your chances kind of decrease here. More cold nights, more of them are going to start to head south. You'll see the Jersey folks start to crush it as those fish migrate. It's usually a good indicator that they're kind of bailing out of our area. But we've got a lot of good fishing left here locally. If you've still got your boat in the water, you have access to some incredible blitzes, kayak guys as well. Locally on the shoreline, you can start to see more action on the beaches this time of year. A lot more peanut bunker blitzes, bay anchovies, silver sides, that kind of thing. Porgies, I'm still getting really good reports from guys using clams and sandworms. Fluke, I haven't heard many guys going for them. There are still guys buying the occasional gulp and things like that, but most guys seem to be focused on sea bass, which has been very good. I had a buddy have his best sea bass day of the year recently. I've heard deep, but I don't think that they're necessarily confined to deeper water. I think you can probably poke around some of your better off shallower spots, 40, 50, 60, that kind of thing, and hone in on them. We do have the BHO Togtober tournament is coming up, October 17th through 20th. Killer tournament. We got 100 guys in it already. Really fun raffle and food truck and food, drinks, that kind of thing at the after party on Sunday the 20th at 3 o'clock. $50 sign up. It gets you a free plate of food. We've got 4 Calcuttas as well in that tournament. It's single biggest blackfish wins. We also have daily cash prizes for your biggest tog each day that comes through, so you got a chance to get extra money there, which is great. You can sign up online or in person at the store. Looking forward to another great tog season here at Black Hall Outfitters in Westbrook. I can't wait for it to start up, and until then, good luck, everyone.
The best albie activity in pretty much, let's put it this way, the most reliable albie activity pretty much in all of New England right now is from Middle Ground heading west from there. Doesn't mean it's like a crazy blitz wild blowout, but there's a lot of fish around in the area. There's several pods of fish that guys are being able to find, and actually putting up some decent catches, which really can't be said anywhere else in the region this year. Kind of a sad state of affairs in that way, but it is what it is. We're seeing a lot of those bonito that have pushed into that area as well. So your best funny fish action overall is definitely going to be in the Western Sound. Seeing more and more striped bass moving into the area. We're seeing a lot more fall type blitzing going on. There's been a few more bluefish around. And overall, the Western Sound seems to be one of the hotter areas. For a little bit more on all that, let's check in now with Max Finch from Fisherman's World.
Hey everyone, Max here from Fisherman's World with another local fishing report. This past week we had some pretty nasty east winds, but the guys that got out, we heard the albie fishing was really good east and middle ground. That seems where the biggest concentration of fish is. There are a little south towards Port Jeff, and we hear some schools popping up around the islands, but now that it's getting nice out, we might hear more and more locally. The striped bass fishing still remains more of a morning, evening into the nighttime hours on our deep water reefs if you're looking for a better fish. And then there's a lot of fish back in our back bays right now chasing all these peanut bunker around. Fluke fishing still remains pretty slow. You really got to pound these areas. It seems like, you know, you can get them in the deep water reefs right now, drifting, you know, peanut bunker, like, you know, snappers now are getting bigger, but you can still drift them whole squid. And then guys fishing from shore are starting to hook some like 20 to 23 inch fluke that are coming in, feeding on all this small bait in our back bays along the beaches. Porgy fishing still remains really good. Guys are getting from the Norwalk Pier, Capt Beach. The boats are getting them on the shallow water reefs and the deep water reefs, and there's a bunch of spot mixed in. If you're going to target sea bass, I do recommend in the deeper water, 60 foot or more on our wrecks, our reefs. You know, traditional high-low rigs with clams, squid, spearing, and then sea bass are aggressive, you know, in their bass species. They'll take a variety of jigs, flatfall, butterfly jigs, diamond jigs, you name it. Blue fishing this week was really good for guys that got out. We heard big blues, you know, 28C, and then a place we call the Eagle's Nest, which is just north of 28C in a 160-foot hole on diamond jigs. And then I heard, you know, when the bunker were coming by, blues were all over the surface. So this is a great time of year. The fishing's heating up, and it's just going to get better. Thanks, good luck.
That's what I have for you guys in the reports this week. Hope it's going to inspire you to get out there. I mean, here we are, you know, beginning of October. It's do or die time now. You know, we got one more month of like this really hot fishing, and then things are going to really start to taper off. So make it count while you can. And if you're not a subscriber to The Fisherman, I highly recommend you head over to our website. That's thefisherman.com. You get a full taste of what we offer for free. You're going to see that we cover all the fishing from Delaware to Maine. We have travel pieces that reach out of the region to, you know, up into Canada, out into western New York, and then, you know, all the way down into the tropics and beyond. We also cover every angling discipline, whether you want to fly fish, surf fish, kayak fish, go offshore, you want to, you know, fish inshore for fluke, you want to do some freshwater fishing, it's all covered. It's $30 for the year, $29.95. You're going to get 12 issues sent to your house, like paper magazines. You're going to get 26 digital editions sent to your email every week during the season from April through November. And on top of that, you're going to get access to all the back issues, and you're going to get digital access to our other editions in New Jersey and New York. I mean, how can you go wrong? It's the best $30 you can spend in fishing. But at the very least, if you're not convinced after you check the website, just give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube and hit that little bell thing there so you get a notification every time we post something new. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.